How are you guys? Welcome back to Wargaming China. And you know what we do here on this channel? So I'm going to get straight into it because we're finally here. Here we are at Taierzhuang. And it's about the 3rd of April. Between the 28th of March and the 5th of April, the Japanese had broken into the city in the northeast and the northwest. Now, if we were to read Benjamin Lai, we would understand that the Japanese made these 2 penetrations, but didn't really advance much further into the city. However, if we read Taierzhuang, we'll read that the Japanese forces that had breached the city in the north and the northeast had managed to link up, and by about the 3rd of April had taken 2/3 of the city. Now, the troops defending the city were Major General Cheng Feng Tian's 31st Division. And they were originally Northeastern Army. And all of the battles that have been leading up to here, this is the Suzhou campaign, have been to buy time for the defences of this town to be prepared and for reinforcements and heavy weapons to be brought up. And indeed, by the 28th of March, the Chinese, German 150mm and 105mm were acting in defense of the town, and anti-tank guns, heavy weapons, mortars, and plenty of ammunition and grenades had all added to the strength of the force of the 31st Division that was to defend the city itself. Now, the majority of the fighting, or a large part of the fighting, took place on Moon River Street. And this street and Yue He Alley were the scene of fierce combat. Now, the fighting in Taierzhuang went on day and night. It never stopped, and we should not imagine the Chinese as having a passive defense. The Chinese, as much as possible, were on the attack, and although the Japanese did manage to bring up armor and artillery and into the town with armor and tankettes, many of the bridges would not hold the weight of an Otsu. They would, however, be able to hold the weight of a tankette. Now, in reality, all the bridges were of the traditional Chinese humped bridge style, but this is the only one that I have. So the 31st Division got a very tough job ahead of them, and so has the Japanese, the elements of Seiya. Now, I'm going to talk more about Tang En Bo and his counterattack. to the rear of the Japanese, and it's very windy today. It's very windy today. And his 20th Army Group consists of the 52nd Corps, the 75th Corps, the 85th Corps, and at this time it is engaging elements of the 3rd Detachment's 10th Division to the rear of the town, and also it is engaging elements of the 5th Division to that are trying to pull a right hook to aid the Taierzhuang detachment in taking this town. Now, as we've seen in the previous battles, the Japanese had sent a force totaling about 100,000 when they had decided that the Suzhou needed to be their next strategic strike. And they had done so by, first of all, from the south with the 13th Infantry Division, and attacked north, which had been checked on the Huai River, at which point the Japanese 5th, 1st, the 10th and then the 5th pushed on Suzhou via Taierzhuang and the Jinpu railway line from January onward. Now, we've seen that the troops that the Chinese have had to use have never been first-class troops. And we've seen that the Japanese troops, Chinese historians always treat them as elite forces, especially the 10th and the 13th Division. But here we are today. Now, for this game, the Japanese will be attacking over one of these bridges. And then, at turn 4, a dice will be rolled by the Japanese player, and if it's an odds, the Japanese will enter here with armor. Sorry, if it's an evens, they'll enter here. And if it's an odds, they'll enter there with tankettes. Now, let's have a look at the forces for today's game, which will be, all my forces are built on the rapid fire system. Thanks to Richard and Colin, St. Richard and Colin. So this is the Japanese force that will assault across the main bridge, and this is the force that will be side by side, also attacking across the bridge. And this will be the force that will be coming in as the flanking action. Now, as I said, I haven't said it, but this battle, to all intents, you see, Taierzhuang is a city that's located right on the Grand Canal. And the Grand Canal was built so that it could feed off the Yangtze River and be a good trade route and communication route for the Emperor of China. I can't really remember off the top of my head, but you should look it up, it's interesting. Anyway, I think it was 1854, 1845, the Yangtze River changed course. Because, the Yangtze is a bastard that grew up. And that meant that Taierzhuang, which had a moat all the way around it, now had a moat on only, say, just over 2/3 of the size. But within the streets themselves, waterways are common enough. And you know me, I do like a game with lots of water in it. And this street fight will be a test for everybody. Now, as far as anti-tank rules are concerned, for this battle, the 31st Division formed dare-to-die tank-busting units, and there were a unit consisted of 40 men divided into 8 5-man teams. Now, I'm not sure if these are placed at the battalion level or at the divisional level. I would guess for the battalion level because the amount of armament it was using and the small size of the force, but one can't tell. So I'm gonna roll the dice, and whatever it lands on is how many dare-to-die anti-tank teams I get. Okay. As I said, by April the 5th, the Japanese realized that their rear, if it wasn't completely cut, was about to be. And that's at the point that they decided to withdraw. So by the 7th of April, the Japanese had withdrawn from Taierzhuang and retreated. However, these are the Japanese army, and it doesn't matter what the casualties are, they always keep coming back. And indeed, Suzhou would fall within the next, well, that'll be another video. But for now, this is how the Chinese fought the Japanese in the streets of Taierzhuang. And it should be a good game. I'm going to give it 10 turns. The Japanese objective is to eliminate the Chinese. The Chinese objective is to counterattack and gain back some territory. Show you a few more buildings here that I've got. So, a very interesting battle. It's taken many episodes to get to here, and I hope you have enjoyed it. We'll do an after-action report and a look at all the forces I used when we've wrapped up the campaign. Now, usually, and I always pretty consistently say that most Chinese forces are incapable of indirect artillery support, but this is that 10% of the army that is fully trained. Not the northeastern, but the bits that have been attached to reinforce the 31st Division, the anti-tank guns and the artillery. It should be a good game. 10 turns should do it, and I hope you enjoyed that. I've got 440 subscribers. Looks like I've peaked. Been that way for a while now, hovering around the number. But hey, it doesn't matter because I love all my subscribers, and I know that this is obscure as hell, and I know that I only platform my understanding. I'm not one of these people that is telling you that everything that falls from my mouth is a jewel of knowledge. I want you to go read, look up things, pull me up where I made mistakes. Alright guys, that's Wargaming China. Thank you very much. See ya.